So this white X represents where I got JP Morgan. So can you guys see some reasons? Now remember, this is for the newbies and those of you that have been around. I know that you already know this. I do not trade options, swing options, unless there is a clear, definable setup. What is a setup? A series of criteria that you can stack on top of each other that give you a true edge over something happening versus it not happening. Does it guarantee that the trade will work? No. But you're building a case the way a lawyer builds a case, right? Evidence. Give me evidence. Well, I saw the man run out of the apartment with a red shirt and he had a knife in his hand. Okay, what else? That's all they got, right? So they got to do DNA. They got to check the security cameras. There has to be a motive. Was there another witness to corroborate that one? Et cetera, right? So evidence, you have to have a preponderance of evidence. And unless you have a preponderance of evidence, the judge may not let you even take it to trial. So there's usually like a pretrial conference, right? Attorneys that are out there, and the judge makes the determination, is there enough evidence to go forward with trial? And typically the prosecutors, right, in the district attorney's offices, they won't even bring it in front of a judge to be embarrassed. They won't even spend the money and the resources to put it in front of a judge to go to trial unless they feel like they have enough evidence, right? So it doesn't mean this guy's going to get convicted, but they got to line up as much evidence as they can. When a doctor does a proper diagnosis, right? Well, my nose is all stuffy. Oh, you've got COVID. Hold on there, medico. Right? Do you have a fever? Do you have a cough? How long have you had it? Do you have allergies? Do you have a coke habit on Saturday nights? Like, why is the nose stuffy? Right? Even doctors have to build a case so they can determine what the best course of action is, so that they can get a diagnosis. Am I hitting any bells here? Ding, ding, ding. You guys get it or what? Yeah? Makes sense? I think it makes sense. Okay. So for me, I need to trade with a setup. So what was the setup for JP Morgan? Glad you guys are with me. Oversold on what chart? Nova, nice comment. Yeah, Margie, it's not just a line. Okay, that's the 200 period simple. That's the F. I call it the F and 200. Little NASCAR terminology here. We call that the F and 200 because that is a powerful line. So yes, bounce off the F and 200. Check. 2 days close under the Bollinger Bands. Okay. BB, the lower BBs. Yep. Oversold on the daily chart, Busy Bee. Like extremely oversold. Yes, yes. Nova said wind at your back. What Nova means is look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart has a squeezed up Bollinger Band, broke through the mid, took a dead stop at the lower Bollinger Band and the 50-day moving average right there and bounced right off it. That's called weekly support. Support of what? Support of what I want to do. This is wind at your back of what you want to do. Let's take a closer look at the weekly chart because you don't really want to go long here. But if you bounce there, you can see that that's a reversal candle, right? Price did close lower, but it opened here. It came all the way down to here during the week. And by the end of the week, it closed here. So that is a reversal candle on the weekly as it bounces off the lower Bollinger Band and it bounces off the 50-period simple, which is the white line right there. That's called support. I call that way B, wind at your back. So you got 4 criteria here already. Now, if you want to use the oscillator from Convert to Vert, fantastic. Look at that. Yeah, sure. Oscillator red below the green here starts to turn. Boom. Absolutely confirms the move, doesn't it? A little early. I got to say, it was a little early, but we took the trade. And I even said it in the room in Legacy. I go, this is a little early to take this trade, but we're going to do it anyway. Right? So we took, when we did the trade, and I'll share with you the strategy from beginning to end here. The idea of the trade was to buy the 235 call for this Friday. So if you look at where we are, we're right at 230. I'm only looking to take out the high of the day. It's right there. Boom. So if it dips a little, that's fine. It's a 5 wider thing. I'd love to see it get up to here. I know there's resistance coming down here and here, but I'm just thinking that we get a bounce and a decent bounce. And because it's JP Morgan, listen up, if the narrative starts to shift, rising tide lifts all boats, that means JP Morgan's going to get a kick in the ass. And if JP Morgan gets a kick in the ass from a narrative shift, what will I do, Michael? If I take the trade in Legacy here, and then the narrative shifts in the market, what am I going to do? Yeah, I'm either going to add to the trade or I'm going to let Masterclass have at it. And that means I am leaning into the trade. Leaning into the trade for me, right, means that I am fairly confident. Yeah, add it to Masterclass. I'm going to read you the Masterclass alert in a second. I just want to walk you through all of this so you can see what Legacy is about and how we kind of elevate our trading as you get better and better. So on the 12th, right, sure, this is the alert. They're very brief, typically in Legacy, because the Legacy members kind of know know how I trade and know my shorthand. So this is what I wrote on 3/12. I said, calendar on JP Morgan. Okay, calendar, which means I'm going to sell this 235 call for this week. This week meaning the 14th, only 2 days away. I'm going to sell the 135 call for Friday, and I'm going to buy the 235 call for next week, which is this Friday. That's called a calendar. Now, why would I do that? I didn't even have to explain it, but the first reason is that I wanted the 235 call. But the 235 call, I wanted the 230s actually, but they were ridiculously expensive. The 235s were about $340, and I wasn't going to pay that amount for a call. So what I was able to do is I was able to sell this 235 call for about $140. So the net trade of the calendar was $2. Now watch, what I need to have happen is I certainly would like to see price go up, but I'm okay if it pulls back a little first before it goes up, and that's exactly what it did. It pulled back a little bit as long as As long as by Friday, price does not go above 235. You got to stay below 235. And where it was, I didn't, it was going to take a little momentum, little momentum, little turn here, take a little bit of time. I did believe that it would move. If the narrative changed, I think it would move even more. So I sold the 235 for last Friday with 2 days left, hoping that price would not get to 235. And it did not. So if price does not get to 235 by Friday, guess what happens? Sorry, Jimmy, I'm going to use the white. The 235 call expires worthless. So that $140 credit that I got, awesome, right? So this allowed me to only pay $2 for a $340 call by putting a higher priced short strike that would run out of time. My bet was that this would run out of time and just expire worthless, which it did. And so what that leaves me with, the 235 call for this Friday. So at the end of the day on Friday, when I wake up on Monday morning, all I got are the 235 calls. Got me? That was the beginning of the trade. Really cool. Yeah, and some people would alter the trade if that's what they wanted to do. That's fine. So let me just continue. So that day that we put the trade on, price started to move really nicely. But 2 days later, listen to my alert. JP Morgan calendar is doing great. The best scenario is just to let the 235 expire today. But if it gets too close to 235, then you can close the calendar as a spread and you'll make money. But if it looks like it's going to expire worthless, just let it do so, and then you'll have the 235 call for next week. Or you could combo it. You could sell half your calendars for about 80% and then let the remaining 235s expire.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.